Hi everyone. It's time for another Wednesday Whisper. I hope everyone's doing great this Wednesday. I've come to enjoy these little whispers and I hope you have too. We had a little pony born last week named I Am Enough. And today I wanted to share a little story about how several of the ponies have been named and why they've been named and how it came to be. And I Am Enough has a very, very, very special story to me, to my own heart, and to someone who I think the world of as well. We had a retreat a couple of years back. It may have been 3 years ago. And a just wonderful group of women came to the house to spend 3 days with us and stayed on our farm with our horses. And they were also able to bring their own horses. And we had just it set up beautifully to where their horses could get equine massage. They could also indulge in their own massage on the property. And it came time for one particular lady who I absolutely adore. I didn't know very well at the time. It was the first time I had met her. And I have permission to share her story. But she came in the most perfectly organized truck and trailer, and just a beautiful lady, and seemingly had it all together. You know, just one of those gals that you aspire to be. She had everything in place, everything organized. But it came time on the second day for her horse to get his equine massage. And it was interesting because her horse would not stand still to be massaged. He kept jumping and fidgeting and just wouldn't relax into it. And, you know, the equine therapist, she looked at me and she said, I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen this happen before, but I just can't get him to relax. And just purely out of instinct, I looked at this lady who owned this beautiful sorrel horse, and I said, do you trust me? She said, yeah. I said, will you come over and sit down? She said, yeah. And we sat down face to face on two stumps outside of the round pen in the woods. And I said, is what's going on inside of you? Is there something going on inside of you? And she began to well up with tears. And I said, what is it? She began to try to explain her feelings of inadequacy, her insecurities. She began to explain what she was feeling. And I stopped her. And what question came out of my mouth next was something that took her by surprise. But I said to my friend, I said, I'm going to pull up a chair, and I want you to imagine that God Himself is sitting in that chair. And I want you to answer a question. I want you to answer the question of who God sees you as. And this took a little while for her to process. But I said, tell me how to answer this sentence. I am, but don't answer it in your words. You answer it in what God is trying to tell you. I am. And her tears began to flow. She was very quiet. And finally this whisper came out. Enough. I looked at my friend. I said, say it again. Say it louder. She said, enough. I am enough. The women began to huddle around her, and we said, say it again even louder. This time we made her stand up on the stump. And in her highest voice, she said, I am enough. And I said, that's who God says you are. That's what God wants you to hear. That's what He wants you to know. I am enough. And this unveiling happened. It was like a weight was lifted off of her shoulders. But what was equally amazing is to see her horses release. Her horse released in the most beautiful way. And the equine massage therapist went over and she began to do her massage on this horse. And this horse was breathing and enjoying and just loving this massage. And we brought my friend in, and I have pictures in my heart and I have pictures on my camera of this moment of pure, true love and connection. It was surreal. It was surreal. But what my dear friend had to know was the way God saw her, not the way she was viewing herself. She went on the next day to receive writing lessons, to receive gifts in a different way. She went on to write about this experience. It was profound. It was profound in her own way. It was profound. But that was just God speaking His words. She needed to hear, I am enough. So every time another I am enough pony is created, I can't help but think about my dear friend and that experience and how I draw upon it every time I'm with the horses. I draw upon it every time I'm creating prayer ponies. This is important. This is important. If it's just for one person, it's important. If it's for 10 people, it's important. If it's for thousands, it's important. That doesn't matter the numbers. But I just love sharing the stories of how these horses and these prayer ponies can be reminders of what God wants us to hear. Thank you for being with me this Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you next week.